Bam. We're live. There's another podcast tonight. Eric, you wants to know? I mean, if you have you have four zombies. You have Will and Caleb you can't see, and then Brian and Sevon you can't see. You feel like a zombie kind of, Brian?
No, I feel great.
Oh, okay, great. How about that? 4 days of just, as they say in the hood, clang and bang.
This was a really, really good weekend.
Patrick Vellner, league of his own.
Yeah. I mean, I said, obviously we talked about him in the lead up. He's the guy to beat. And in case anyone was wondering why we were saying that, now you see why. He's, I think at this point, he's either the third or fourth best male that's ever competed in the sport, obviously behind Fraser and Froning, maybe debatable with Ben Smith, but I think that he's pushing into the 3 spot, honestly. I know he hasn't won the games, but he came up at the exact same time as the best to ever do it, Fraser, and sometimes that just happens. And his competition pedigree is insane. He's barely ever lost to anyone outside of the weird 2019 cuts and a pulled groin in an online competition in 2020. So I think he's probably the third greatest male CrossFitter of all time at this point.
When you look at the scoreboard, he has 692 points, and Alexander Caron has 633 points, and then
Say
after
those numbers again.
692,
okay,
and then 633, and then 613, and basically what you're seeing is he's 60 points.
There's a whole
ahead.
lot of Canadians on the podium, is what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to say, I spoke to Alexander Caron after the competition, and I am so happy for that guy. He works incredibly hard, and he has had, I think, amongst a lot of the athletes, like the least reward, especially financial reward, in terms of his performances relative to the competitions he's been a part of. This is a massive breakthrough for him in his career, and a long time coming, in my opinion.
How old is he?
I can't remember. I think he's in his late 20s, like 27, 8, 9, something like that.
So you think we'll see more of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's at the games this year. He missed the cuts. I think he was 26 or something like that. He didn't win a single dollar of prize money in the competition season, and we've talked about that in the morning chalk-up. So for him to cash in, I think it was 35 grand here, is significant. It's a big deal for these athletes, and he's traveled around the world competing. So I'm just absolutely stoked for Alex.
Thank you, Ethan. Hey, thanks, Bruce, by the way. It was great seeing you today, by the way. Seriously. Mitchell wants to know, Mitchell Hetty? That's not how you spell Mitchell. Are all of those guys fathers that are on the podium?
I know Samuel and Pat are. I don't know, but I think he's thinking of Alex Vigneault. Alex Vigneault is a dad. I don't think Alexander Caron is.
Okay. But they are all vaccinated.
They're all Canadian.
I don't even know if that's true. I just made that up. Don't quote me on that. Okay. Let's go over to the ladies. Emma McQuaid.
Yeah. I mean, she's the one athlete that I said I thought if anyone was going to beat Bethany Shadburn here, I thought that Emma would have the best chance to do it. She's coming off her career best games performance of 12. She's been to the games 3 times in a row, 20th, 19th, 12th. I think she was 11th at Rogue. I mean, she's won open events. We've talked about it. She's very, very good. And she was very consistent over the course of the weekend and good enough to beat a very fit Bethany Shadburn. I mean, I know Bethany had a little bit of a questionable sandbag no rep in the Dale event that probably ended up costing her the win, but that happens in competition sometime, and you can't take anything away that from Emma. She performed and executed and ultimately did enough to win. So similar vein to Caron, this is by far the biggest accomplishment of her career.
Oh, what are you referencing? I don't recall. I don't remember the sandbag.
It was so crazy. There's so much going on, but they had all the heats ran, and then they only took the top 10. And I actually, the reason I got held up is I was talking to a lot of people, but I just saw Cooper and Daniel Brandon, Dallin Pepper, and they were all talking about it. Jake Marconi was there, and I guess she had carried the bag across and dropped it before she passed the line. and they sent her back to do it again, which is like brutal.
And is that correct? You're saying that's bad judging, or?
Well, the thing was that this event obviously changed really late for whatever variety of reasons, and so the briefing for the judges literally took place on the competition floor while the music was still playing. I was standing there amongst the group, and you could barely hear what Dylan was saying. So it's not an ideal situation. Then they had to go brief the athletes on it. So I don't exactly know what happened or what was necessarily.
You're saying, sorry, Brian, you're saying she dropped the bag before she crossed the finish line, but
No, it's not before she crossed the line. In both the handstand walk and the sandbag here, you needed to cross the line in order to complete the rep. And so I guess she had not crossed the line and she had dropped the bag, so they called it a no rep and she had to do it again. And she ended up taking 12th. Obviously, with having to do one more rep like that, you're going to finish past 2 people, get into the top 10, and have an opportunity for a much better finish, and most likely end up as your Wodapalooza champion. But it's not the first athlete that I've seen something like that happen to. It won't be the last. Cooper said her mental attitude about it is better than his. Like she's really accepting of it and happy for Emma.
Awesome coverage this week. It's been fun. Awesome team and community. Thank you, Eric. Matt O'Keefe, what's up? Oh, we're starting the show strong with pictures of his ears again.
Is there a way for me to get this thing to be louder? You guys are real quiet.
No, I am not quiet, and I've never been accused of being quiet, and I resent you calling me quiet.
Hold on. Here, camera, mic, audio.
Chris Thompson, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Crazy nice to you. Crazy nice to you. Thank you.
I can't hear you.
Thank you. Hey, when she picked the bag back up, Brian, did she just have to go across the finish line, or she had to do the whole thing again?
What's that?
I think he's asking me about a specific event that we were talking about.
Dude, this is like talking like to a guy who's like 112. Look at him. He's like, guys, we're just taking a shot of his ear. Oh, Matt, someone text O'Keefe. Oh, jeez.
I literally can't hear you, and I don't have my earbuds. I don't know where Erin is. Find her. She has my
you
bag.
Can't? Can you hear it? Testing 1 2. O'Keefe, can you hear us?
It's just not loud. I don't know how to like put it on speaker so I can hear you. Like it's only in my. It's like only in the phone mic.
I'm trying to think how I can help him. Can I text him something?
I don't know. It's fine. Do you know how to use your own tool here?
Oh, that's my wife said that to me last night.
Of course. Anyway, what an eventful day.
Yeah. So you really can't hear us?
I can only if I put you up to my ear like this.
Can you turn the volume up?
Yeah, it's all the way up. But listen, I know I look stupid, but I'm not.
O'Keefe. Fuck.
How close are you to O'Keefe, Brian?
I do have the other headphones, but I just left the park. I'm across the street.
I'll walk. Listen, I'll jog back. I'll be back on in like 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. While you're gone, we'll keep talking shit about your judges. Kyle McDougal, thank you again.
We're not talking shit about the judges, just to be clear.
Good.
Things like that happen. There's a very close race between the two of them. I feel that Bethany has a great perspective on it, and I don't want to take anything away from what Emma McQuaid did this weekend. She was very consistent, very professional, and very fit, and she's a worthy Wodapalooza winner this season.
Let me go back to that question I asked you. Did she have to pick the bag up and go all the way back, or did she just have to pick it up and cross the line?
All the way back across.
Okay, so that means that lost her.
I didn't see this happen, by the way. This is just what they told me over there right before I came out.
Okay, so that means that probably dropped her down from
inside the top 10 to out of the top 10.
Yes. You're right, and she would have won that. You're right. If that error wouldn't have happened, she would have won. Well, she would have had enough points to win. Looking at the current situation, is this hard for Bethany? Did she expect to come in here and dominate?
I don't think she expected to dominate. I think she knew she had a chance to win.
Lucy Campbell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Where did she end up finishing?
4th place, but destroyed the last 4 workouts relative to the pack. A first, a 5th, a 1st, a 5th, a 6th, and a 2nd.
I've had my eye on her as someone that could be emerging in the European region. There's going to be some spots opening up in Europe. Kristen Holt is moving on. I don't know what Katrin and Annie are doing. Sam Briggs is 39 years old. She's still amazing, of course, but a lot of the old guard of Europe, we don't know what's going on with Sarah necessarily, is ready to have some new faces there. I mean, we know Laura's there, we know Gabby's there, but Lucy Campbell was pretty good last season, and I was extremely impressed with her this weekend, as you had mentioned, especially over the weekend.
What country?
She's from the UK.
Okay.
I believe she's 25 years old. And
does she train with Emma McQuaid and Sam Briggs?
I don't think so. These are impressive event finishes there. I mean, I wouldn't worry actually too much about the 18th on the flip sled necessarily. There's a lot of athletes I spoke to. Actually, I was talking to Spencer Panchik after the competition. He's like, dude, if it wasn't for that flip sled event, then he feels like he could have had a much better competition. But a lot of athletes, like Lucy, had a kind of slow start and had to climb their way back in throughout the remaining 7 events.
Let's talk about Spencer and the fact that he beat Saxon and Scott. Is that big?
Hell yeah, it's big. Never happened before. And we had been. I'm gonna see how close they ended up. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. And I just talked to both Scott and Spencer, and they're just, I mean, Spencer, I think, they're so competitive. They all want to do well, but they're also so like, they're just aware, and they appreciate that this is a unique opportunity. How often can 3 brothers compete on one competition floor? They shared like adjacent lanes in a lot of the events. They ended up within right next to each other on the leaderboard here. It's just definitely a special time for the 3 of them. But for Spencer, this is like really, really cool, because he's, often the one that's kind of left out, kind of just missing out on the party and whatever. So to be able to finish ahead of his 2 brothers here is, maybe they'll let him sit in the front seat this time.
Spencer and Saxon, they have in event number 3, they had a 17th and 18th. In event number 6, they had a 4th and a 5th. And event number 7, they had a 9th and an 8th, only being, one place apart on 3 of those events. A lot of people.
I mean, look, they've been a minute apart since birth.
Yeah.
They have, they do move very similarly. There's a lot of events that they're, you see that they both make their move at the same time. But there are small nuances and differences in them for sure. In particular, one thing that stood out to me relative to not just his brother, but the entire field, was Spencer Panchik's rope climbing abilities this weekend. All the Panchiks have always been good on rope climbs, but he was faster than anyone else in the field. And I didn't necessarily know that about him. So something I learned about him here.
Taylor Self 10th place, Jason Hopper 11th place, and Colton Mertens 12th place. I bring that up because we talk about these guys a lot. Thank you, Caleb. And it's interesting. Taylor pulled it out today of the 3 guys that we like to, on the podcast. We talk about these 3 guys a lot. These are our boys that we make fun of. They're, what do you think about this?
Start with Colton. Colton's events over the course of the weekend, up until the final, were basically exactly what I thought would happen. And I actually thought he would win the final, or maybe top 3 the final, and he did not do very well in the final. My 21st.
I mean, he shit the bed. Let's face it, he shit the bed. I mean, he should have beat. He's 3 points behind Jason Hopper. I mean, Colton needs to go home, and whatever punishment Colton needs to give himself, like the 1,000 wall balls. Yeah, he needs some punishment for that.
And a lot of toes to bar. No, who knows what happened there. We maybe can talk to him eventually, but that was the outlier finish. If he takes 44 points there, let's just say he'd won the event, which I thought, so that's another 56 points. How high up would 56 points have propelled him? From 498 up to 560 plus, so he'd be right in the 7th place. He would have been 7th. I thought I had put him 6th, and that was the difference in the projection, basically. So he did mostly what we expected him to do. He's obviously very, very, very good on some things and not as good on others, but he is perhaps more committed to working on those things he's not as good at anyone. Yes. And he's still young, and I think that he's still climbing. Like, the future's still the best part of his career, the best potential that he can reach is still ahead of him. I talked to Jason at the end of the competition.
Oh, just
Actually,
real quick, one thing. I think what Colton Merton needs is to add some
grass-fed beef organs, a mouthful of meat,
to his regiment.
That's interesting. I could see it on the phone.
Oh, did you hear it
Something
too?
about my computer. I did not hear it. No.
Oh, Will's voice is awesome. Okay,
Actually, it creeps me out, so I'm glad I didn't hear it.
So go on about Jason Hopper, 3 points ahead of Colton Mertens.
I got to spend some time with Jason today, and it was quite enjoyable with him and his coach, J.R. Howell. And then I did catch up with him at the end of the competition.
His
and,
ex-coach, J.R. Howell, his ex-coach.
Yeah, J.R. was coaching him here this weekend.
Okay.
That's what I mean by that. And Jason, he knows he made some mistakes this weekend. You know, he thinks that he left anywhere between 30 and 80 points on the table, just with mistakes of his own. Not, he wasn't blaming anyone else. He reminded me, and I think just as importantly, he reminded himself this is still his rookie campaign, his rookie year. He's about to start his second season in, and perhaps no more than anyone else this season has he learned lessons in the public eye. Because he gained so much notoriety after what he did at the MAC. Obviously, he had less than desirable games for this year, but he had a good performance at Rogue. He had some really good workouts here. He's going to have a ton of things to take away from high-level competition experience after just one season. And I think he's very, very much in the same vein as a Colton Mertens, where the best is yet to come.
Let me also throw out this Bisma. I can almost say it. There's no one ahead of Colton, Jason, or Taylor where you're like, wow, how did they get ahead? I mean, they are in outstanding company. The Panchik brothers, Spencer Saxon Scott, Phil Toon, who was a complete savage. Dallin Pepper, who, last chance qualifier, savage material too. Cole Sager, the super veteran. Samuel Cornway repping the Mayhem Empire. Alexander Caron,
Also
savage.
repping the Mayhem Empire, by the way.
Oh, he is. Caron is?
Caron, Cornway, Alex Vigneault. There's a lot of them.
Wow. Okay. And then Patrick Vellner. So it's not like like we can see what happened. They were trying to squeeze through the same doorway as some other big bulls, and not
Scott,
everyone.
Obviously Scott's not gonna. Well, he says he's not gonna compete individual next year. Every single person in the top 10 besides that could easily be at the games next August.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Good. I'm glad you said it, not me. Okay. Taylor Self. I think this is. He's probably pissed, but
look on his event finishes. This is the most dramatic of anyone, I think. Second, 32nd, 30th, 11th, first, 11th, 17th, 7th. First and the second, 30th and the 32nd. That's like it's almost reminiscent of early Fikowski. He's got that potential to hit the home runs, and he's got a couple things that he needs to obviously improve on. But I think he's a little older than Jason, but he's still learning a lot, and his headspace seemed to be very good to me this week. I know he'll admit it too. He knows he struggled with that at the Granite Games. So I think for all three of these guys, even though of course they want to do better, they're fierce and relentless competitors. I think it's a successful weekend against a really good field where they can take a lot away from this and hopefully not make the same mistakes in the future. And sometimes like the affirmation of it might look like he did bad on a workout, but he might actually have like the lifting workout. I know that he actually was happy with how he executed that workout. He wanted to, of course, hit the last jerk and finish it, but he was never expecting a top 5, top 10 finish on that. And so he can probably say, my strength is coming along with these lifts in this area, even though it wasn't where I want it to be. It's moving in the right direction.
It's also a great mental test for him that he took a 32nd and then a 30th, and that could have been a death spiral. And next thing you know, he climbed out of that hole with a 11th and a first. I mean, what a great time he could have just gone in his room and started moping, right?
Yeah, and that was during the competition. I think that was the only time I sought him out. And I don't really, this, I don't really seek out athletes very often, but I just I saw him and I went over to him after that second place, 30th or worse finish. And I said, where are you at? And he goes, I'm good, man. This is not a Granite Game situation again. I knew that those events would be tough for me. I'm not even thinking about them right now. I'm just looking forward. I'll reflect on those when the weekend's over.
Awesome. On top of that, too, James Sprague got a great experience here, too, because in the third event, he took 37th, which is just about as bad as you could do. Yes, it is. It's the worst. He finished dead last, Sprague did, in event number 3, and then proceeded after that to get a third and a second. And that is a testament to the rookie.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's the youngest guy in the field. He's 19 years old,
and I guess
Dallin's
it's a stretch to say he's a rookie. I guess it's a stretch. Sorry, go ahead.
He has a lot of experience, but as the youngest guy in the field, I guess there's guys like Dallin that are close in age to him. But Dallin in terms of strength is an outlier for his age, and we see a lot of young women that are getting extremely strong. It's much less likely to see a guy like a Pepper or Guimayeros that are that strong that young. So Sprague's got plenty of time to improve his lifting, and he's very focused on doing that. He had a blast this weekend. Win, lose, or draw, I don't know if anyone enjoys competing, learning, being around other athletes, celebrating with the fans and his friends the way that James Sprague does. He's a positive influence on everyone around him, and he's a huge asset to the CrossFit space.
Awesome. Someone is saying, what's Hopper's beef with you? Check his story. There's no beef. Nothing but love. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Let's go. Caleb, can you pull up Hopper's Instagram and see? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Vellner, what kind words don't get twisted though? Sevon did not write this. Oh. Will, you're a good dude, Hopper. He's a good dude for reposting.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I was so overwhelmed this morning by that post from Will and the response from it. I actually went down by the water and spent 5 minutes just by myself. Kind of, I was tearing up and in reflection. And he then went on to write those posts about Danielle and Jason and Colton and several of the other guests that we've had on the show. And I completely echo the sentiments that he expressed about all those people that we've gotten to know. I'm really grateful for them giving us the opportunity to hopefully, expose some of the great things about them to the CrossFit community and the people that want to learn about the athletes. And so from whether it's about me, I just wanted to say that I was really appreciative of Will doing that, and what a great opportunity to do that in a time where, during the day today where people were, they were wanting to watch competition, and obviously we had to delay for a while.
The team is pretty wild, guys. Will has just run out. He's just run out ahead on his own, and he's done an insane job. I see Caleb nodding his head now. He's done an insane job by taking responsibility for the Instagram account, for the stream, for the graphics. Yesterday and part of today, he was managing, telling everyone on the stream, over 30,000 people today, which lanes everyone was in. I mean, the guy is a rock star, and he's taking it on his own to write these beautiful pieces. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The whole entire team, everyone is great. And although we didn't get Brian.
And Caleb too, he wrote that thing earlier that he shared with all of us just about his Wodapalooza experience and how impressed he was with the things down here. And I shared that with O'Keefe and Dylan and Kristen and a couple of the girls I work with on the social media team, and all of them were expecting a complaint and a gripe with what was going on with the delays and everything else. And that was super refreshing for them in the day to get a feedback like that. So thank you, Caleb, as well.
I want to point out, this is totally just me preaching and totally off topic, but these are all people on the team who are taking opportunity with they have no idea what's in it for them. Zero. I have no idea what's in it for them. Like, every single one of these people is just charging ahead. Heidi's not holding the camera for 7 hours for any other reason, because she's not like, hey, can I get paid? Or, hey, can I do the next show with you? Like, everyone's just doing it for the experience of doing it. Brian's just stays in touch with us all day, gives us leads. That guy, Tyler, came on a few times today, got what I thought was the highlight of the behind the scenes. He just sent me a text, give me a link. I trusted him, and he got us that Rich Froning moment. Every single person, Caleb bringing water to people. We just got lucky. I don't even mean it like I'm not trying to romanticize it or anything, but, and the people who didn't take advantage, they weeded themselves out. I mean, we were a bunch of, This is everyone we're all running full speed, and we've all run ahead or are running as far ahead of everyone else as we can. So it's pretty awesome. Thanks, Logan. Yeah, even Logan calling in, he's the guy who calls in consistently, and so he's the only one I answer the phone when they're not calling shows. I mean, everyone anyway. O'Keefe, what's up, baby?
How are we doing?
We are so stoked that you had this competition this last 4 days. We're stoked that we got to be a part of it. We're stoked. I mean, you let us play in your sandbox. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. It was. I appreciate all the coverage, and it was what a wild week. Whew, I need some sleep.
Is it over, or are you out there tomorrow cleaning up shop?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. This rain today will make loadout uniquely difficult, so it'll probably take us.
Oh, you cut out. Tell Matt to stop calling you. You'll be down for soon. Bye-bye. Hey, Brian, how close were they to canceling?
I didn't get involved in any of the conversations during the break. I took that as an opportunity to go just hang out and watch some NFL football with JR. Jason was getting a little nap in and just have some quiet, which was really, it recharged me and set me up for the evening, which was required an extreme amount of focus as both the team and competitions were going on at the same time. I needed to write about, it was a lot of stuff. So that was a really important break for me. And I just let the event directors do their thing and trusted them to make the right decisions.
Have you heard about what happened to Sarah? How serious it is yet?
I have heard something. I don't know how reliable the source is, and so I'm just gonna refrain from weighing in on that.
Okay, I just heard that your headphones are about to die. I think I heard one of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm walking towards the hotel now, and I was hopeful that you could talk to O'Keefe for a couple minutes while I transfer over to my computer.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'm just gonna jump back on in about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I know that you and Brian don't get along, so I wanted him to step off while you were on the show, O'Keefe. Matt, how close were we to the whole event being canceled? Not seeing the last two events.
Are you? I don't. Do you have like a voice filter on? It's like sounds like.
Like I'm a transformer. I am the Omnicron.
What is it? What is that?
No, it's no voice filter. No. It's just you have a bad connection or something. Oh shit, Caleb, he might hang up and it might be me and you.
Father, I'm really tired of you're messing with me.
No, can you hang up and call back? Can you hang up and call back? Can you hang up and call back? I have Caleb and myself. Matt Souza says, thank you, O'Keefe and Kristen. O'Keefe, awesome on the fly work. I am very curious to how close they were to canceling it. Caleb, I wonder, Caleb, do you know, did we postpone this 4 hours today, 5 hours today? Like, what was the push time on that?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 to 4 hours.
And there has to be go ahead.
They had already planned it for like an hour and a half. And I don't even think we got started until about 5 o'clock.
And there had to be a time when Matt O'Keefe was just going to have to be like, okay, we can't do it. The winner is Patrick Vellner.
Yeah, I know there was some debate on like, well, maybe we can just do like one event and we can just call it quits. Because I think there was something about, like at least for the other divisions too, they were just saying, okay, we'll just do one more and they'll be done kind of thing. But otherwise, I'm not really sure. I think what John had said previously about there being like some sort of contingency plan in regards to like, okay, well, who goes first or who doesn't go first was in play, obviously, because they ended up not completing the scaled divisions, but they allowed the adaptive, intermediate, the age group, masters athletes, RX and elite to finish as well.
What on earth was going on with the sound?
I don't know. Is it better now?
Yeah, it was like, like everything you guys said was.
You jinx all microphones, Matt O'Keefe.
Nice.
Thank you.
We're back.
Thank you, Caleb, for standing in. How close were we to not seeing the last two events? Like there is some timer that's going that says, okay.
Yeah, so we have a curfew. We generally end like between 7 and 8 on Sunday, so that we can have ceremonies and people can go out. But there's a ordinance, where we can't go past 10 p.m. So that was like our hard end. And I don't know if you saw, we ended at 10:09. So we were very close, and it was it got challenging, when we got back to the property, and we needed to make some. We were ready to go if everything checked out, safety was there, and everybody everybody felt good about where moving forward with the workouts the way that they were programmed. But we had to make some adjustments, so we started to like lose some time. It got tight. We rushed the last heat of guys on the floor and move that a little, like a couple minutes forward to get done, so that we could celebrate properly with Pat and and end it the right way.
And when you say regulations, we kept hearing that there was some sort of rule, like lightning strike rule. Like last time someone sees lightning within 30 miles of the place, and then the clock starts and you have another 30-minute window. And if it makes it 30 minutes without a lightning strike within so many miles of the place opened up. Is that what it was? Is it actually a lightning strike that you guys are looking for or not looking for?
You mean earlier today?
Yeah. Like before, is that what we were waiting for? Were we waiting for water, or was it the danger of lightning, or both?
No. So basically what happened was we knew there was a huge, storm with electricity band that came through. We knew precisely when it was going to end. You never know how long it's going to take to clean up. So there were high winds, so we didn't know what the damage would be. So, I mean, it's interesting. Like, we've gone through this for many years, and I think people get frustrated with the lack of communication, but the lack of communication is, well, do you want me to tell you to be somewhere at a certain time that we're going to start, and then not be able to meet that? We want to be like concise. We even bumped, immediately 30 minutes off of the time that we had initially set, which we don't like to do, because we were trying to move. See what happens is, like, we tried to get everybody to get 5 workouts in at a minimum, because the other divisions do 6. They do 2 a day. And then, we had set up the elite competition, which was for a lot of money. There was $500,000 at stake. And we had programmed it, with the 8 pieces in thought. So it was just like, all right, well, you take one out, maybe it's just not proper, because we looked at it as a complete 8 workout event. So our goal was, hey, we got to get those 2 workouts in, because it's high stakes. And when we got back to the property and started to go, I went over, Matt came over, Fraser, and tested some stuff for us. He handstand walked, and we cut a little on, because there was some running that was going to go on the floor, and the floor had really started to dry quite a bit. And felt really good. It's funny, the flooring company said that we would get 10% increased tack, and it was like all kinds of technical stuff that went into it. If it was just damp, and it was barely damp, so it was really actually sticky.
So it was actually safer if it was a little moist. And by the way, it didn't necessarily dry. I mean, your team was out there mopping that shit up.
Yeah, and it was,
when you say dry.
Yeah, so it was. But we intended to talk to the athletes, and that's something we've always considered in those things, is like, hey, I mean, it's hard to get a bunch of opinions pointed in the same north when you have a couple hundred athletes. It's like,
yeah, why do you do that, O'Keefe? Why not? Like, so if I'm at if you and Matt and 20 of your buddies come over to my house, I don't ask you guys what kind of pizza you want. I order a pepperoni, a mushroom, and a pineapple and ham, and you fuckers can get in where you fit in. And here's the reason why. If I ask you what kind of pizza you want and then you don't get it, you hate me. But if I just order the pizza and there's not one there you're like, oh, that sucks. So it's like you're nice to those people, and then all of a sudden you're hearing a bunch of opinions from a bunch of jackass. I mean, you set yourself up for a no-win situation. You're too nice. Chief is too nice.
Yeah.
You feel me or
thanks.
no?
Yeah,
I mean, unfuck me
I
if I
don't.
need to
I
be slapped
don't.
around a little bit.
I would. I would over order pizza and ask people what they want, dude.
I knew it. You're that guy.
This is 100% true. I cannot describe to you the amount of food that was at the Granite Games in O'Keefe's room that he got for the party after the Granite Games.
Yeah, that was a big over order. But yeah, we we went up.
So you actually asked the athletes, "Hey, what do you guys want to do?"
Yeah. So I went up to the athlete warm-up area. And there was, and again, the process was that we were going to speak to them to tell them what we thought was safe in the plan. And we heard some rumblings that there were some questions on the cutting. Again, in the grand scheme of things, I would have walked them all down there and been like, hey, like, go out there and look at it, and play around with it. And, they were worried about there was a lot of water on the property, in fairness to them. Like, there was a ton of water. And so, the walk from athlete area to the stage, their feet were going to, the shoes were going to have a lot of water on the bottom of them. But I got the elite teams and indies together and just said, listen, we care about your safety. But let me tell you this before I ask this question. The risk here is that half of you think one way and half of you think the other, and then like we're really going to get nowhere, and then I'm going to have to make a decision for you. So in the grand scheme of things, I do want to ask you and let people speak up. If you're pretty aligned, this is super simple. If you don't want to do the workout, I said we just spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to give them what they came here for, right?
Yeah.
Like you're playing for money, and you guys like the title of winning the Wodapalooza. So, we want to give you that. That's what we're working hard to do. And if you guys don't want, the easiest thing for us, honestly, would have been to eliminate a workout. Like that would have made our day very simple. And so, but if you don't feel safe, let me know. And, who doesn't want to do the workout the way it's programmed for safety? And literally all their hands went up. I was like, well, that's cool. We'll program something else. And if we can't program something because it just doesn't make sense, we're going to eliminate the workout. You guys all good with that? They said, yep. And we programmed something.
We snuck someone into that meeting with a camera. And
did you?
Yes, of course. And we streamed it live. But we at one point, Rich Froning just spoke, like yelled at the group.
Yeah, he
what was that? What happened? We just heard him say, "Raise your hand if," and then we were like even in my seat,
I had no voice, so I couldn't like get my words to. There was a couple hundred people. There was actually more because I think everybody started to, and so I couldn't get everybody, and nobody could. Some people couldn't hear me in the back, so he had a big voice and he was yelling. So that's like where that came from. But he was, he spoke up. Others did, but all I mean, you saw then if you were streaming it, like there were like maybe a few hands that didn't go up, and those people were good with it. They were just like, hey, let's find something different, and I think we nailed it. Like it wasn't perfect, but like it kept the integrity of what we were trying to accomplish, and they were all happy. I tried to say hi to them all when they leave their last workout, and there was a lot of gratitude that we thought of them and made the change. So.
We had Chase Ingram on at the time, and he said that he would switch it to burpees. And 20 minutes later, he was on. I mean, and I respect Chase a lot. He's seen a lot of competitions, and that's what you guys ended up going with, right? Burpees.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to put another thing on the floor. We were thinking about a bike. We were thinking, and Matt Fraser came over to help with the whole with the testing, and he was there. And Dylan and I, are in the heat of this, right? There's some emotion flying around, and we both kind of looked at him and we were like, well, what do you think of this? And he was great. Like, he was like, he's a really smart programmer too. Like he just was like, hey, what about this? We went through all, and then we made the decision. He thought 20 burpees was probably more fitting than 15, and then he,
who is this? Sorry, I didn't hear who.
Matt.
Oh, Matt.
Matt
okay.
Fraser. Yeah, yeah. And then we were going to brief the judges, and there was all these questions, and Matt came over and he was like, "Why don't I just demo this?" And so he demoed it, and so it helped quite a bit. And
Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome when he demoed it. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was super cool. I mean, he was taking a nap and sprung out of bed and ran over there and helped. But anyway, super cool. But yeah, I mean, listen, we've had situations with Rain before where we've let those guys weigh in because I mean, it kind of speaks to what Wodapalooza is. Like do I think that you can do that in all situations? No, but I do feel like because of what that event is and kind of how it's how it's been established. It's as this sort of community event, and it's about everybody in some way, shape, or form. It's something that I think fits. And I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem if it was split down the middle with saying like, this is my decision and I'm going to live with it. Like it's pretty simple. But if you're all weighing one way, like it makes it super simple. And by the way, like I get like if you really look and like it's a that's a risky proposition in the grand scheme of things, right? Like there's so many things that can play out, in a scenario like that. And, I think that those, I think everybody's pretty cool out there, and they, I think they want the event to be successful. They're really good to us. They support it every year. I don't think it was, a bunch of bitching. I think there were some genuine concerns, and with the time factor, it made it actually, reasonable to say like, all right, why don't we just switch the workout? We're going to parade all these guys down here. They're going to, we're going to get them on board, and then we're going to parade them back, and then we're going to parade them back again to get to their heat. It's like, all right. So it worked. It worked well.
What's next for you? What do you do next? What's your Oh, well, 2 questions. Did you get any new clients this week?
No.
No?
What do you mean clients? Like athletes?
Yeah, like I know this. A bunch of athletes are coming here, and there's potential prospects. So you set up meetings, and like now Ellie Turner is on the O'Keefe team.
I don't really. I mean, I talked to some people this weekend that asked to talk to me about that, and my response is just, let's catch up after the event. I'm excited to talk to
Colton
whoever wants some help, but no, I'm not prospecting. I don't really do that a lot anyway. Like
I know you don't. I just like to bug you about it. I want to know who's the there's people signing with Matt O'Keefe. I think is always a smart thing. So I'm just curious who the next.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, there are a lot of cool people there. Honestly, there's some new names too. Can I say that Emma? Like I have a little history with Emma McQuaid. I do not work with her. But Emma and I were teammates in a competition. So
wow,
I was on a team of 12 at Strength and Depth in London when it used to be I'm sorry, not London. It used to be in Bath, England. Ollie, super cool guy from CrossFit, runs that.
Yep.
And he had this really unique 12-person competition where sometimes it was 7 people and 5, and all 12 did workouts. And I was on a super team, and then I was the ordinary human on the team, and it was like Valner, Laura Horvath, like Emma, Elliot Simmons and Jamie Simmons, and the Kelly Friel, who won the games this year, was the other master, and you have to have masters athlete, and I was the male.
How did you get into that? Weren't you like, no, I'll pass, or did they have to have one normal person on there?
Don't let O'Keefe deceive you. By no means is he in their league, but he's a very fit dude.
Okay.
They were it was Whit put it together, and they're good friends of mine, and I mean it was one of the most fun times I've had competing. It was really fun, but I ended up getting partnered up with McQuaid in a workout, Laura Horvath in another workout. I have some really funny stories. Like we were running, Laura Horvath and I were running around a track with like a 2-person worm, and just like, I'm friends with Laura. She's awesome. And she just like, O'Keefe, move faster. You're moving too slow. Like in Laura's like stoic way, like move faster, and it was like, it was awesome. But McQuaid and I partnered, and I honestly, I fell in love with her as a person. She's just such a really nice person, and you know, her story is incredible. She was a professional ATV racer. Her husband had an accident. And she just is. She's awesome, and she works so hard, and she just goes. She has like a gear that is crazy, which made great for that workout. She just like goes to dark places, but for her to be her first win, and just she's Irish, and I'm 100% Irish, so that was pretty sweet, honestly. And again, I don't work with her, so I really like Emma McQuaid, and I'm really proud that she's the Wodapalooza champion.
100 G's. Brian, who is that? Your grinder date? Is he leaving or is he showing up?
Brian, you missed the piece where the voice. Savon must have been messing with the microphones because it was like super slow-mo, like deep, like for like you'll have to watch.
That happens when he calls me sometimes.
Yes, he'll hang up and be like, "I got the robot voice."
Huh?
O'Keefe, what do you do? What's your next thing? Like, so now do you just turn like is Loud and Live doing a concert? Like, where do you turn your sights to? Where's the machine Loud and Live? Do you point at Granite Games? Like, where's this? You're turning your ship around. What's your next attack? What's your next project?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to do with concerts. Like our business does, right? So I don't get involved in that. Yeah, but I go to them and we support different. Our team supports different things. When they need more.
Well, whose wedding?
But,
I know you. Are you going to someone's wedding? Are you putting on another? Or is West Coast Classic coming up? Is Vellner going to take you out to like make you like go to like a baptism? Like what are you doing next?
I'm going to the after party tonight. That's the first place I'm going, and then I what's next? I don't know. We've got to start thinking about our other events. I need a couple weeks to just like decompress. I got a bunch of stuff to take care of with athletes we work with and some brand stuff. Before I start thinking, we'll start thinking about Wodapalooza too. So yeah, I got a couple. I got some meetings down here in the next couple of days, and then we got to clean the park up. Then I'll go home and catch up on some sleep, and the next week, get back at it.
Last question: are you glad you brought your son, or is it like one of those things like, oh, that was a lot of work?
It was amazing. My wife and daughter are here too, by the way, so it made it pretty easy. But they're camera shy. Well, my daughter isn't camera shy. She's just here with a friend, and she's 15, so she has like this much interest. She's amazing, by the way. She just they watched Pat's son a little bit here and there, and my wife's very camera shy, so she doesn't want to be on. She doesn't do the social media thing. And
how old is your son?
He's 13. That is so special for me. And Pat is uniquely connected to my family. Like we're friends, and my wife and I were at his wedding. So I don't want to leave it at Emma. Like that's very special. He's won every event that I've been associated with Waza, and I'm proud of that. I got programming doesn't have anything to do with that. I don't have anything to do with that. He's just fit, and he is incredible. He's won back to back. So that was pretty special that Jack gave him his check. That was awesome. That was cool.
That's 3 back to back. He's won 3.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
Wow. Who's Jack?
Jack's my son.
Oh, perfect.
So we went out to present the winner's check, and Jack gave Pat his check.
He'll probably will never give any. Well, it's going to be a long time before he gives anyone more than $100,000, probably.
Yeah. He was like this. I called him and I'm like, "Where'd you go?" I'm like, "Where'd you go? You can come down and go on the stage and present the checks with me." He's like, "I'll be right there." He runs down, and then he gives Pat the check, and like I turn around and I'm like, "Where did he go?" He just like darted back up to the room. He's like, "All right, I got it done.
Done."
I'm out." Yeah. He's amazing. So yeah, my having the question you asked, having my family here was incredibly special. I mean, they take it on the chin with my time with this. So for them to be able to see what I've been working on is awesome. It gives them some context for you know why Dad's running around all the time.
Well, thanks, dude. 11:48 p.m. You're finishing up your last duties. You can't even really party because you're straight on the straight and narrow. But
I mean, I can roll all night, when I'm sober, and sober's fun.
oh, very fun. I agree.
I'm just get some caffeine going and we'll be ready to rock. Brian, you coming?
We'll see.
That's a heavy no, Stefan.
I need 5 or 10 minutes with Brian, and then I'm sure he's coming.
Both of you, incredibly grateful for your coverage and
Dude,
support of the event.
Way to blast.
Thank you so much. Honestly, you guys crushed it. Brian, thanks for being here. I didn't get the chance to hug you on the floor. I was pulling tape up and running around hugging people, and you ran off. So thank you, dude. You were amazing.
That's why I gave you a hug earlier today. Make sure I got it in.
I needed it. I needed it right about then. So thank you, dude. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Good night, man. Thank you.
Right.
I'll text you or bug you soon. I'll call you soon, Matt.
I love it. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's a good dude.
Were you there when Rich spoke up?
Nope. I was
It was pretty
preparing. I was preparing for the upcoming 4 hours.
It was pretty authoritative. Matt O'Keefe, I don't remember how old he is, but he's younger than me, I know. And I'm 49. Because I remember when I asked him, I'm like, oh, he seems like such an adult to me. One of the most fascinating, no, not the right word. One of the most exciting parts of the competition was the female elite teams. We didn't have a lot of expectation there. And then boom, we had it. Team Krieger and Mayfem coming down to the final event. Did you get to watch that? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure I got to watch that. I mean, they basically just traded the lead back and forth event for event. Ultimately, the difference in the two teams came down to the two worm events. Krieger got an event win on both the worm thruster and the worm clean and jerk workout. And that ended up basically being the 6 points they needed to separate from Mayfem. It actually worked out that coming into the finale, whichever team won the finale would end up being your winner, because if Mayfem had won and Krieger had even taken second, they would have tied on points, but it would have been Mayfem's fourth event win of the weekend to Krieger's third. Instead, Krieger had 4 event wins. Mayfem had 3. So they won nearly every event. And you just don't get competitions like that often, where there's two teams that are, or even two individuals that are so close so often. It was a little bit in terms of team competitions reminiscent of the Wasatch and Mayhem teams in 2017. They were like finishing first and second on almost every workout. And those I actually kind of feel bad that we didn't give Lena Richter and Ingrid Hodnemer the credit that they deserved prior to the competition. And I made sure that throughout the competition, it was very well known, hopefully, that those two women took second place at the games on CrossFit Oslo. And kind of in the way that Andrea Nisler and Taylor Williamson had been chasing the Mayhem teams when they were part of OC3. This Oslo team was chasing their team, Mayhem, this year at the games. And here's when it's an opportunity for, I know it's a different format and whatever, but look, they brought in Kristen Holta. Andrea and Taylor brought in Haley Adams. I think they finished within a couple places at the games. So, and man, yeah, they're super impressive. And I know of a lot of teams that are going to be going in the team competition this upcoming season. And I think that it's going to be a really good team season for CrossFit.
Caleb, can you pop that open one more time? Oh yeah, sorry. So it's interesting you say that about those girls from Norway and about them being on the podium at the
By the way, the
games.
team in 5th is also 3 Norwegian girls.
The comeback team?
Mm-hmm.
So this Ingrid Hodenmeyer and Lena Richter, when they won, I made a comment. Then I said, hey, this is probably the highlight of their CrossFit careers, being that they beat the Mayfem girls. And someone in the comments basically said, hey, dude, these girls have been on the podium at the games. And it was like what you're saying, like, at least you knew it. I didn't even knew it. I was just spouting off shit on autopilot playing sportscaster. Yeah, it was it was something else. If I'm on the Mayfem team, I haven't actually looked at the numbers, but there were 8 events they competed in, and I'm guessing they could go back and see that it's literally seconds that kept them off the podium. Like they can probably be like, in workout number 3, if we would have gone 1 second faster, and in workout 7, we would have gone 2 seconds faster, we'd be on the podium. And it doesn't get tighter than that, right?
Nope. It's amongst the closest races in the history of high level team competition.
I want to talk about a guy that caught my eye and see if it's worth letting him continue to entice me. His name is DeLugos. I think I heard you talk about him before. He was there with Con Porter and James Newberry. Is that Souza asked him if he's interested in teams, and he emphatically said no, he's individual. And then John Young said he has a 315-pound snatch. Is it can I get on I'm on the Taylor train, I'm on the Colton Mertens train, I'm on the Hopper train. Is DeLugos worthy of is it worthy getting on the DeLugos train?
Let's have him on the show. We'll get to know him a little better.
Well, what do you think? What about his abilities? I mean, he's an outlier. I mean, he's basically he's a Colton Merton in his own right? I mean, he looked like a giant out there.
Spectrum,
yeah.
He is. I mean,
and he's got a nose ring. He's got a nose ring. I don't approve, but he's got it. But okay, he's got a nose ring.
Actually, Khan told him he had to wear a fake nose ring this competition to be on the team.
He works out with Danielle Brandon, I think, in Vegas, and I wanted to know if they swap nose rings. Doesn't she have one of those?
I was standing next to her for a while today, and I can't even tell you for sure. You
should stare at her face more often, buddy. She's not.
I was watching the competition
She's
for
something more than just a set of quads.
Anyway, DeLugos.
Yes.
He's a young guy working very hard in an incredible training environment with a very knowledgeable and experienced coach. Seems like he's getting better. If I feel like, he was on a team, so it's not quite the same, but yeah, he was very impressive in a lot of different regards this competition alongside those guys. Overall, I was very impressed with their team, and he's almost guaranteed to be at a semifinal this upcoming season, and I would be very surprised if he doesn't improve upon his performance from last year.
Oh my goodness. Ellie Turner came in, rocked the house. Did you get it? And then had that third. There wasn't a worse event to struggle on. She's basically was doing the handstand walk, and right as she's about to cross the line, she falls down, and that's basically it for her. She lost the whole kit and caboodle in that one moment. 2 questions: are we going to see more of her? Like, is she going to stay at the top of the food chain? And then the second question is that a problem with those kind of workouts then? These kind of workouts where there's cuts within the workout, and so that if you shit the bed early on, that you're toast?
Not toast, but I mean, look, you still have.
I mean, the same thing happened to Bethany Shadburn too.
Yeah, but only 10 advanced to the final, and that means even if you don't make the final heat, there's another 27 women that you're, hoping to place as ahead of as many of them as possible. So that's one where like we talked about with Bethany, we could talk about it with, Jason Hopper got a no rep on his handstand walk, and it was deserved. He came down before he put his hands across the line, and there were probably some other happened on the team side a few times. That's just something you have to learn to deal with. Sometimes it happens, and the best thing you can do is just keep going. Go do the rep again and finish as fast as you can and see where the chips fall. But there's nothing you see her finish is there, and that's obviously an outlier finish relative to the rest of them, and it's an execution error. She's 23 years old, and she's going to make some of those and learn from it, and hopefully not make those similar mistakes in the future. But this is a great weekend for her. Obviously, people were talking about her for the first couple of days as she was a leader for the first 3 days of competition, and I am very hopeful for her career. I think that getting some more opportunity to interact in person with someone with as much experience as Michelle is going to be beneficial for her. So all in all, I think things are looking up for Ellie Turner.
As I look through all of these lists, I don't see anyone who didn't live up to, like, I don't see anything like just completely weird. I mean, of course you expect Rich always to win, but I mean, really, what were his chances against a team?
Where'd they end up? Where'd they end up?
Sixth.
Are you sure?
Wait,
They were
500.
sixth?
I'm not 100%. Oh, sorry. Let me reboot. Sorry. Fifth. Pretty impressive. Comeback. They took second in that last workout. Wow. They have 605 points, and for the boys had 770 points. I mean, Thunder from Down Under, two former games athletes, legit games athletes. The boys, 3 legit games athletes. Team Hercules, 3 legit games athletes. I don't know who's on this team. Sam Saralaman?
No, Sam Sorella, man. It's those are the guys that won the online qualifier: Dennis Samsonov, Tyler Eggeman, and Philip Muscarella.
Any games athletes in that group?
No, Eggeman missed by 1 at the semifinals this year.
So maybe Rich should be angry. I mean, the top, the 3 teams, above. But who are these guys? These Sams? It sounds like some sort of disease. Samsonella. What's the thing you get from eating raw eggs or something? Or eating raw chicken? Salmonella, yeah. Tyler Egamon, Philip Muscaria, and Dennis Samsonov. It's a Russian last name.
Mm-hmm.
And any thoughts on these guys?
They're impressive. I was really impressed. Not just with, I kind of knew about some of their individual prowess. I didn't know how they would necessarily perform as a team, but they're very fit. They worked well together. They seemed like they were having a blast, and I'm happy they were part of the competition.
Is Street Horner still? Wait, was Street Horner on the Smith Bros team?
Yeah.
And him and Sam Dancer, are they training for the games?
I spoke to Sam Dancer this weekend, and he is intending to. I hope he's okay with me saying this. He's intending to. I think he's intending to compete in the Masters division this year.
And is Street Horner still competitive?
I did not get a chance to talk to Street this weekend.
It's crazy that they did so well.
I don't think so. They have a lot of experience. All 3 of them have competed here in team format many times, and they're all very good. And I think they also, sometimes they also kind of balance each other out a little bit. Sam's obviously super strong. Alex kind of this. These guys are all. They're just all good. I'm not that surprised.
Anything else you want to highlight? We made it an hour. Woo!
Yeah,
my teeth are chattering because I'm so high on caffeine.
We didn't even talk about the guys that won. And in particular, I think it was, pretty cool for Noah probably to be able to win with Travis and Chandler, who are 2 of his closest friends, in the 10th year that he's competed at every single one of these things. And,
they were hamming it up afterwards. They were having a blast. They were all over each other in the back.
You'd be hard pressed to find someone who loves people more than Noah Olson. So to be able to win with his friends on the 10th year anniversary or 10th celebration of Wodapalooza is probably extremely special for him in ways that few people can understand. And they were clearly the best team there, but it doesn't take anything away from the accomplishment, and the fitness and the celebration is more than deserved for those 3 guys.
And along with kind of romanticizing this, Noah was repping Guido Trinidad's gym, Peak 360, and he's the founder of Wodapalooza, and he's kind of the guy that got Noah into CrossFit when Noah was in college. So, yeah.
That's right. Also feel good about the Team Hercules. Travis Williams' semifinals was cut short this year. Roy Gamboa, I've always been a big fan of his, and Logan Collins is very underrated, I think, in terms of his capacity and ability and accomplishments. I thought that I had predicted them to get second, but they didn't stand out in any one workout necessarily, but you see their performance there, very consistent in a broad diversity of workouts. And this was a really good good men's field. So all these top 5, 6, 7, 8 teams are full of talented guys at a lot of different points in their career.
Any other winners you want to talk about? Are you
Well,
coming on tomorrow morning?
We've
Are
only
you-
covered 4 of the 50 divisions, so it looks like we got a couple hours to go.
Are you coming on tomorrow? We're supposed to have Ricky Garrard at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Are you coming on for that?
I cannot commit to that. I am also not saying that I won't be there.
Fair enough. I think it's going to be short and sweet. I think Chase pretty much uncovered all the other stuff.
The next 24 hours of my life are very unknown.
Oh, because you got to travel and you don't know how you're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. All right. Brian, thank you. Checks in the mail. You're a good dude.
Great job this week. I have heard from many people about what you guys have been doing and how great it's been.
Oh, yeah. Let's take that off there. You can stroke me when you're done stroking that guy behind you.